Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to this week's Tat Think on These Things. It is I, your girl, your host, Marilyn Gregory, aka MG, aka Pearl, and I am with you every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to bring you a word of hope, a word that will inspire you, lift you up, and give you pause to think sometimes, give you pause to question some things that you believed in. Also, to encourage you in your walk with the Lord. And I always say I'm not going to hold you long. Tonight's not going to be any different. I promise not to hold you too long. So go ahead and grab some people. Tell them that Tot is on, MG is on, and she has a very good and powerful word for you tonight, right? So, do y'all remember that commercial? And I don't know if it's still playing or not, but I think it was for Prego spaghetti sauce. And it would say tomatoes is in there, garlic is in there. Whatever your mom put in her spaghetti sauce, it would say it's already in there, right? So, not like you don't need to add anything to it. Everything that you need for it to be in there to taste like your mama's spaghetti sauce and to taste good, it is already in there. Well, I want to tell you tonight that whatever vision, assignment, purpose, goal that God has given you for you to pursue in this life, everything you need to accomplish that is already in you. I know a lot of times we want to say, I need to wait till I get this degree. Nothing wrong with getting a degree. But if God has given you a vision, a purpose, a plan, it's already in you. If you will look at Genesis, y'all, let's look at Genesis let's start with verse 11. And in verse 11 in Genesis, it said, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the third day. So everything produces after its own kind. You don't have to do or add anything to a seed. If I want a watermelon, all I need is that watermelon seed and to plant it in fertile ground, and I am going to get a watermelon. I don't have to add anything to that seed. Everything that seed needs in order to become a full grown watermelon, guess what, y'all? It's already in there. Everything, I know sometimes we say, I gotta wait for this. I know God gave me this vision. He gave me this assignment. I need to wait till I make this much money, or I need to wait till I live in this neighborhood, or I need to wait till I get this promotion, or I need to wait till I get this degree. I need to wait till I get in this social clique. What we make up all these excuses about what we need to wait for. We need to add something to our lives in order for us to be able to carry out the vision, the goal, the ministry that God has placed in our lives. But I'm here to tell you, it's already in you. It's already in you. And I'm not talking against getting a degree or working to get a promotion or anything. I'm not talking against any of those things, right? But what I'm saying, when God has placed a vision in you, he has told you, this is what I want you to do. Abraham didn't have to wait and for anything. It was already in him. The seed that God was going to use to multiply Abraham, so that you couldn't even count, like it would be like counting the sand on the beach in order to count his descendants. It was already in him. He didn't have to go looking for it, even though him and Sarah did go looking for it. They didn't have to look. It was already in them. It was already in her. Everything that you need is already in you. We don't have to go looking for anything when God has called you and he said, I have a plan for your life. This is what I want you to do. We don't have to wait and go looking and go adding stuff. It's already in you. We just need to be like Abraham said, Lord, here am I. When God called Abraham, Lord, here am I. And we begin to take those steps and make sure we are on fertile ground. And when I say fertile ground, I mean we are walking according to the written word of God. We're not going outside of the written word of God and try to make the written word of God line up with what we want to do instead of us lining up with what the word says, right? Because he goes on to say, he made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. He was like, now, this came from the earth, and it's good, right? Imagine, let's think about it. Imagine if it came from moi, right? So he goes and God says, so you know what? All this stuff is good. The herbs, the seeds, the cattle, the creeping, all that stuff is good. But you know what? Let us make man. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And like we have dominion, let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over all that other stuff that we created. Man is going to have dominion. God already put it in Adam. He already put it in Eve that you are going to have dominion. He didn't say, once they get this degree, we're going to set up this university. I want them to go to school. I want them to get this degree. I want them to be able to make a certain amount of money. I want them to weigh a certain amount. I want the hair to be a certain way. I want them to drive a certain car. I want them to live in a certain neighborhood. And then once they've done all of that, then we are going to give them dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. He didn't say that. He said, we're just going to make them in our image. You know why? Because everything, we are the seed. We are the seed of God. And everything that was in him, he put in us. Remember what Jesus said before he left? He said, this what I do, you are going to do even greater than what he did. And he did some amazing things, y'all. Go in there and read your New Testament. Read the life of Christ. Read about all the miracles and things and the teachings and all that. He said greater things. Greater things. That's who we are. That's who you are. And we have let the world beat us down and society and everybody tell us that we're not this unless we have that. Or we can't do this unless we've done that. No. We are the seed of God, the seed of Christ. And everything that was in him, he put in us. And we are able to do these things. We are able to speak things into existence. We are able to fulfill the calling, the purpose, the plan, the vision that he has placed on our lives. And no, I'm not telling you not to go out there and get your education, get skills and develop your skills and all. I'm not telling you not to do those things, but what I'm telling you is when God has placed a calling on your life and he has said for you to do this thing, don't wait around to get something else before you can do it. Don't wait around and say, God, I can't do it until this happens. God, I can't do it until that happens. God, you got to give me this in order for me to be able to do it. If you will go out and speak to people who have accomplished much, you will understand they didn't start there. They started where they were. When God called them, that's where they started. And he is the one who multiplied and led them and increased them exponentially until they are where they are today. We look at people at where they are today and we say, I want to be there. And we don't think about where they came from. And we don't think about the fact you can be there if that is the calling that God placed on your life. If that's the vision he gave you, if that is the assignment that he gave to you, you can be there too. Now, if that's not your assignment, because we all don't have the same assignment. We're not all going to be on TV. We're not all going to be on stage, right? Sometimes our assignment is right there in our neighborhood. Sometimes our assignment is right there in our own homes. Sometimes our assignment is just right there on our jobs. But wherever your assignment is, everything that you need in order to complete that assignment, it is in you. But it's already there. Can you enhance it? Absolutely you can. Can you magnify it, increase it? Absolutely you can. But don't sit around just waiting for God to do something else. It's in you. It's already there. Just like the commercial said, it's in there. It's in there. Don't let somebody tell you you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not rich enough, you don't speak well enough. You don't walk right. You don't talk right. You don't look right. You didn't come from the right family. You didn't come from the right background. You don't live in the right neighborhood. You don't drive the right car. You don't wear the right. That's bull. All of that is bull. Leave the other word off. All of that is bull. Everything that you need in order to complete the assignment and the vision and the goal that God has placed on your life, it is already in you. We are the seed of Christ. He already put everything in us that we need to succeed according to his purpose and his plan for our life. See, our idea of success for our lives might not be the same as God's idea of success for our life. And that's where you have to start. Make sure you are lining up with what he wants for your life. Because remember, we're all not going to be on stage. We're not all going to be on TV. We're not all going to be on the radio. We're not all going to be living in mansions. We're not all going to be driving Maseratis. And that's okay. It's okay. Your success is what God says your success is. So pray and ask him. He will tell you what his vision is for you. He will tell you what your purpose is. And we have to start taking those steps, moving in that direction. And as we move in that direction, he'll open that up just a little bit more so you can see just a little bit further. Because if you can already see all the way down the road, it's not fake. And sometimes he may even give you the vision ahead of time. But it's the journey. You may not see everything along the journey because sometimes he might give you the vision. You think about Joseph. God gave him the vision that his brothers were and his father was going to bow down before him. But imagine if he had told him, now you're going to go work for this guy, and then his wife is going to accuse you of rape, and then you're going to go to prison, and then you're going to be in prison, then you're going to going to interpret some dreams for these guys, and then they're going to tell you that they're going to help get you out, but then they're going to forget about you, right? But then after many, imagine if he told him all of that. What do you think? So sometimes we get the vision, but we don't, not the journey. So maybe God has given you the vision, you waiting on him to tell you every little step, the journey. Yeah, I'm talking to myself tonight. But you have to take one step at a time. One step at a time. One day at a time, one step at a time. But everything that you need, stop letting people tell you need to do this and you need to do that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get mentors and you shouldn't get coaches and things like that. It's not what I'm saying. But when God gives you a vision, don't let man, who are you going to believe? Who are you going to trust? You're going to trust man or you're going to trust God? Y'all can't see my hand. You're going to trust man, you're going to trust God, right? If God tells me I can do it, I can do it. It's got to have faith. I got to start taking steps. I can't have faith and sit on the sofa. I got to start making steps towards that thing that he told me I can do. So y'all, it's already in you. Everything that you need in order to grow and become that which God has already planted in you, it's already in there. So that is all I have for y'all tonight. Thank you for so much for being here tonight. Please share the video. Leave some comments. I appreciate y'all. And I hope you had fun in the snow. They said we might get more next week. I'm so over the snow. It was pretty. It was great for a little while. I don't need any more. But thank you for being here. I love y'all. Y'all know there's not a thing in the world that you can do to change that. So peace out, and I will see you on next Wednesday.
Philippians 4:8 says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things." Join me, Marilyn Gregory, aka Pearl, on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as we explore these things and renew our minds.